How can kids learn entrepreneurship skills? Thank you for asking. This is such an interesting question. I never would have thought about it. Yes, entrepreneurship can be and should be developed at an early stage. Entrepreneurship is basically leadership tied to a business. The basic qualities you are looking for or trying to develop in kids are: 1. A head for calculations. This is required if they are to calculate a cost-benefit analysis in a business. 2. Ability to plan and organize ahead. Entrepreneurs must be able to plan in as detail as possible ahead of time. They must also be able to divide responsibilities among others and coordinate. 3. Problem solving. No matter how good the plan is, things will go wrong. Entrepreneurs must have the ability to solve those problems by themselves or with the help of others in a group. 4. Hitting the target. Entrepreneurs must know how to set goals and achieve them within a reasonable period. 5. The art of persuasion. Entrepreneurs must have this quality. This helps both in motivating the team and selling a product or even asking permissions. You can develop these skills in kids by some form of games and activities. If you are talking about one kid, ask him first to gather several of his friends to do a project together. If you are a teacher and have access to several kids, you may divide them into groups. You may ask them to organize an event, or better, ask each group to come up with an idea to sell something at the school. They have to start by asking permission from the school principal and their parents, since the project will require some initial capital. Each group must come up with a unique product to sell: juice, muffins, simple salads, etc. Closing parenthesis. Whatever they are planning to sell, they must produce on their own, some assembly required, so that they have a production line. They have to come up with the list of utensils and ingredients required and divide responsibilities among themselves. They also have to set up the booths on ideal locations inside the school. How nicely they set up will impact their marketing and sales. Give them a target amount of money they have to make within a period of time, 2 to 3 days. All the while act as their guide but do not directly help them. For example, if one kid has a certain problem, ask him to solve it by himself, and if he can't, ask him to consult with his group members, but do not solve the problem for him. First inspire them to live a life of significance. The skills will soon follow desire. They need exposure to heroes and heroines that they can look up to, mythical or real. See, the core of the entrepreneurial drive is to make a difference. To change the world for the better. To play a part in solving other people's problems. To do something worthwhile with one's life. Most kids have this drive inherently, but our education system, family, society and industrial age thinking soon crushes these aspirations and replaces it with the goal of selling our hours, life, in exchange for status and the comfort, security derived from owning physical possessions. Entrepreneurship is not a skill set, it's a calling. It's a vocational imperative for the person so driven to make a difference. So the skills are worthless without this central drive that is most often first kindled and then inspired by role models, heroes and heroines from all walks of life who have chosen to step out from the norm, to live a life of significance. So in helping kids learn entrepreneurial skills, make sure you start with the why. As for the best skills to learn, research conducted by the Society for Effectual Action has identified 5 principles that successful entrepreneurs employ in building successful businesses. These skills principles are all learned by doing and are the skills principles that I believe should be developed in kids. Bird in hand principle 1. When expert entrepreneurs set out to build a new venture, they start with their means: who I am, what I know, and whom I know. Then, the entrepreneurs imagine possibilities that originate from their means. Teach kids to build things from what they know. To find solutions to problems using available resources or sharing what they know with others regardless of how small or menial it might be. Lemonade principle 2. Expert entrepreneurs invite the surprise factor. Instead of making what-if scenarios to deal with worst-case scenarios, experts interpret bad news and surprises as potential clues to create new markets. Teach kids to look for the opportunity in even the seemingly bad results and outcomes. Teach them that not all outcomes should be classified as good, bad, just different, and that an opportunity, solution may exist in both outcomes. Crazy quilt principle. 3. Expert entrepreneurs build partnerships with self-selecting stakeholders. By obtaining pre-commitments from these key partners early on in the venture, experts reduce uncertainty and co-create the new market with its interested participants. Teach kids to work collaboratively, to make connections with others and to complete projects in groups. Pilot in the plane principle. 4. By focusing on activities within their control, expert entrepreneurs know their actions will result in the desired outcomes. An effectual worldview is rooted in the belief that the future is neither found nor predicted, but rather made. Teach kids to choose their own adventure. Lay out options but let them choose their own path of interest and experience. Let them create their own goals and the path that leads them to those goals. Affordable loss principle. 5. Expert entrepreneurs limit risk by understanding what they can afford to lose at each step, instead of seeking large all-or-nothing opportunities. They choose goals and actions where there is upside even if the downside ends up happening. Teach kids that failure is just learning and that it should be used as a process of learning what doesn't work, which will inevitably lead to the discovery of what does. Learning via gamification is possibly the best way to teach this important entrepreneurial principle and skill. Teaching entrepreneurial skills does require education, and our education system could help teach kids these entrepreneurial skills, but they are hamstrung. Our current education system is too enmeshed in an industrial age past, and there are just too many vested interests who benefit from the old order of things. I think that entrepreneurial skills are best taught by mentors who possess entrepreneurial thinking, i.e., who understand and practice the 5 principles outlined above in their daily lives. These may be parents, teachers, family members, or entrepreneurial role models who can spot the opportunity for learning one or more of the above principles in a kid's life and being there to teach it to them in real time.